To have the better understanding of this editorial, you can watch the Hindi version of this editorial. Link is given in the description box. So let us read. A necessary reversion. Reversion means to change the direction of something in the opposite direction. So a month ago, India adopted vaccine policy. So what was adopted? India decided, or you can say that the central government decided that central government will not provide vaccine to every states. The central government told every state will purchase its own vaccine. In a way, you can say that the central government adopted the policy that we are not going to distribute the vaccine. Now we have felt that this is not a good policy, as some states are capable of purchasing, but some states do not have enough resource to purchase vaccine. So editorial says that the changes in vaccine policy should help. So again the central government has decided, okay, no problem, that we will procure all of the vaccines and then we will distribute it. So the change in vaccine policy should help improve India's response to the pandemic. Pandemic means a widespread disease. For coronavirus, we are frequently using the term pandemic. So the change in vaccine policy should help. So a month ago, we have changed our vaccine policy and we told every states to purchase their own vaccine. But again we have changed that policy. So editorial says that this reversion should help to handle the pandemic. The center has announced a much needed course correction. Course correction means to rectify your mistake. Okay. So the center has announced a much needed. Much needed means it was, you can say that it was very urgent, that this course correction was very much needed. So the center has announced a much needed course correction in India's vaccination policy with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So how this announcement was made? Prime Minister Narendra Modi taking the podium. So it is a very important word for one word substitution. Podium means stage. Podium means the stage on which you stand and deliver your speech. That is called podium. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi taking the podium to announce that the month-old decision to leave states to procure. Procure means now that state governments is not going to purchase. Procure means to obtain something or to purchase something. To leave states to procure vaccines on their own. So 1 month ago, it was said to all states that you will purchase your own vaccine for their 18 to 44 population would be ending in 2 weeks. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that this decision is going to end within 2 weeks. This decision is going to end within 2 weeks. States were allowed to procure 25% of the vaccines manufactured and the center 50%. So what was the previous scheme? According to the previous scheme, states were told that they have to purchase 25% of the vaccines manufactured and the center will purchase 50% and remaining 25% will be purchased by the private hospitals. A policy that the Supreme Court termed irrational and arbitrary, and about that policy the Supreme Court said that it is illogical, it is arbitrary. Arbitrary means when you do something according to your choice, it is called arbitrary. So the instructions were given to the central government by the Supreme Court that this is your arbitrary action, you cannot do like that, it is irrational, it is not logical. The court's comments have had a salutary effect. Salutary means beneficial. So the Supreme Court's comments have had a benefit. So have had a salutary effect means, so you can say that these comments have been beneficial. These comments have been beneficial because the central government again took action. From June 21, now what is going to happen from June 21? The center will be procuring 75% and states will no longer have to pay vaccine companies for the same. So again, the central government will obtain 75% of the vaccines and states will no longer have to pay. So there is no need to make payment from the states side. So 75% of the vaccines will be purchased by the central government and remaining 25% of the vaccine will be purchased by the private entities. Vaccines will continue to be free for all those who choose to get their shot at government centers. So I think there is no difficult word in this line. It is very clear that vaccines will be free for those who get their shot at government centers. If you are taking vaccination at government hospitals, so it will be provided you free of cost. The 25% vaccines. So recently we discussed that 75% vaccines will be purchased by the central government and remaining 25% vaccines that were allotted to private hospitals will continue to. So it will remain the same. 75% will be purchased by the central government and then it will be distributed to all states and remaining 25% vaccines will be supplied to private hospitals. However, the service charges that they charge will be capped. Capped means to fix an upper limit at rupees 150. It means private hospitals cannot charge more than 150 for vaccination. This ceiling price. Ceiling means ceiling and cap, same. Ceiling means also an upper limit. The ceiling price, so upper limit will be 150 rupees. So private hospitals cannot charge more than 150 for vaccination. This ceiling price on vaccines in hospitals will bring predictability. Predictability means which can be predicted. You can say something about that. And be hugely beneficial to citizens in a large quantity. Hugely means in a large quantity. And it will benefit citizens. Editorial says that it is a good decision that the central government has fixed a ceiling price that private hospitals cannot charge more than 150 for vaccination. So it will be immensely beneficial to citizens. The center, which controlled all supply of vaccines and had negotiated prices and orders with Bharat Biotech. So recently, the center, which controlled all supply of vaccines and had negotiated prices and orders with Bharat Biotech and the Serum Institute. So recently, the central government has been purchasing continuously its vaccines from two companies. One is Bharat Biotech and another is Serum Institute. Negotiate means to discuss something, to reach to a conclusion. So you can say that it's a type of bargain. So it was under control of the central government. That the central government decided everything. Central government purchased vaccines and what will be the price and how many orders. So everything was decided by the central government. So the center or the central government saw itself desperately short of supply. Desperately means when you are in hopelessness. Okay, when you are completely in a state of hopelessness, short of supply, right in the middle of India's deadly means very dangerous, fatal second wave. So when we suffered from the second wave of coronavirus, so you can say that India was in completely desperate mode, or you can say that the central government was very desperate. Central government was making efforts continuously, but it was in very desperate mode. It was in hopelessness. The hospital emergencies worsened. The center's panic So panic means when you get frightened with something, है ना? When you get frightened or when you get afraid of something, ना, it is called panic mode. When you are under confusion, है ना? When you get frightened. So the hospital emergencies worsen. Worsen means to when something is already bad, है ना? And it further goes down. If the condition is already bad and it further goes down, so you call it the situation is getting worsened. So you may say that situation is getting worsened. So the hospital emergencies worsen, the centers panic, and so it chose a path that no country had undertaken. So you can say that the central government was continuously getting vaccine supply from Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute. But due to second wave of India, we couldn't handle the second wave of India properly. Then the central government took a decision that that decision was such type of decision which had never been taken by any of the country of the world. So it chose a path that no country had undertaken of devolving the responsibility. So again a new word is there, devolve. Devolve means you can say that to distribute the power. For example, in the name of GST, the central government has taken all the power of taxes within its hand. But if now, assume if central government decides that no, GST will be taken by every state, है ना? So it will be called devolving of power, है ना? Devolve means when you distribute your power, है ना? When you centralize power, है ना? So it is the opposite of devolving, है ना? When you centralize power, so it is opposite of devolving. So devolve means to give responsibility or to divide the responsibility. Okay, if you are you can say that if you are a collector of district and you give power to so many people who are working under you, then it will be called devolving of power. So the central government decides to devolve the responsibility of buying vaccines to states. Then the central government told every state that you buy vaccines on your own. We are not going to supply you. Health has traditionally been within the purview of states. Purview means range. So you can say that health has been a topic, or you can say that health has been a important matter, and states deal it, and it stands to reason that they would invariably have to deal with the challenges that vaccination throw up. Throw up means that have been the challenges vaccination throw up, है ना? कि okay, so you can say that so many challenges have been created by the pandemic, or so many challenges have been created by the coronavirus, है ना? So here created throw up. So it stands to reason that you can say that it is very logical that they would invariably, है ना? Invariably means certainly have to deal with, है ना? They will have to handle all the challenges which have been created through vaccination. This includes vaccine hesitancy. Hesitancy means that you are not sure, like we are adopting, or you can say that we are following vaccination program, but so many people are not sure about the vaccine, that whether this vaccine will work or not, or whether there may be side effects of this vaccine. So you can say that so many people are hesitant to take this vaccine. So we have to, or you can say that it is the responsibility of a state to solve these challenges. So what are these challenges? Vaccine hesitancy, the problem of transportation, how to transport the vaccine with safety, the availability of trained personnel. Okay, nobody can give, so that you cannot say that anybody can give, anybody can take the job of vaccination. We need specific staff for vaccination purpose, and the existing capacity at healthcare site. Okay, you can do everything so that you can transport your vaccine, but you should make sure whether there is storage capacity is available where the vaccine is being supplied, their storage capacity is available or not. So there are so many challenges, and these challenges are need to be handled by the state itself. faced with intensity of the intensity means the gravity of something, है ना? Intensity means you can say that strength, faced with intensity of the second wave, you है ना? Or you can say intensity means powerfulness of something. So when we faced the second wave and it was very powerful, you can say that the intensity of second wave was it was very intensive. Second wave was very intensive or it was very powerful. So states demanded more vaccines and autonomy. What is the meaning of autonomy? Autonomy means when you have your own control. Nobody controls you. So it is called autonomy. So states say that we should be given power, we should be supplied with more vaccines, and there should be no control over us in deciding how to administer them. Administer means to distribute a drug. So states requested the central government that we should be supplied with more vaccines, and let we decide that how many vaccines have to be distributed and to where. What resulted were frequent public spat. Spat means fight. Okay. So what we saw that we saw frequent fights among the central government, between the central government and states, with the center blaming states. The central government was continuously blaming the states for insufficiently using available stock. The central government said repeatedly that these states are not using the available stocks efficiently and yet demanding more. Okay, so the central government told that you are not using the available supply and you are asking for more. Though, however, there are a substantial number means enough number of senior citizens yet to be vaccinated. So you can say that a lot of number, so you can say that so many people or so many senior citizens are still remaining, are still to be vaccinated, particularly with a second dose. You can say that, okay, you may say that so many senior citizens have been provided with the single dose, but still they have not received their second dose of vaccine. It is clear, so it is obvious that the foreseeable demand means the demand in near future will be in the sub 45 category. So editorial says that in sub 45 category means people below the age of 45 years. So we will see you can say that huge demand for the people under 45 category. The government appears more confident of getting a steady means continuous, stream means flow of supply from Bharat Biotech and the Serum Institute. So the central government is sure that there will be a continuous supply of vaccine from Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute in a bold move. So you can say that central government has taken a very powerful step. Central government has ordered 30 crore doses of untested vaccine from the Hyderabad based biological E. So we have talked about two companies, Bharat Biotech and the another is the Serum Institute. So the central government has taken a decision that it is going to receive 30 crore doses of vaccine from Hyderabad based company biological E, assuming that a third wave is not in the vicinity. Vicinity means closeness. So okay, let us assume that there will be no third wave of coronavirus. Then these changes in total, so the recent changes could be the beginning of a smoother means without any obstacle, without any disturbance, more efficient vaccine rollout means to bring a scheme for the public, to bring a scheme. When the government brings any scheme for the public, it is called rollout, and when the government takes it back, it is called rollback. So editorial says that let us assume that there will be no third wave of coronavirus, then we can say that these changes could be, it is the possibility that these changes will help in more efficient vaccine rollout. Mr. Modi's announcement was preceded. When you say that something was preceded by something, it means it happened before that. When something was preceded by something, it means it happened before that. So when Mr. Modi made recent coronavirus vaccine policy announcement, before it he said what he said. So Mr. Modi's announcement was preceded by a truculent defense. Truculent means very aggressive, very violent defense. Truculent defense of himself and his government. So recently we see a lot of people, or you can say that the opposition is continuously shouting at the present government or the central government, that the opposition is continuously saying that the present government is not handling coronavirus as it should. So Mr. Modi said in a violent way, in a violent way. So what he said, that passing on blame to a variety of actors. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that we are not, you cannot say that my government is responsible completely for this situation. There are a lot of factors, including governments before 2014. Even the blame was made on the government which was before 2014 by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. For India's very real shortcomings. Shortcomings means to have when you do not have the sufficient amount of something, it is called shortcoming on vaccination. So recently we are suffering from the lack of vaccination. Recently we are suffering from the shortcoming on vaccination. So you can say that who are to blame? So then Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that I am not responsible and only my government is not responsible. There are a lot of factors, and he even blamed the government which was before 2014. However, the path to positive change is often meandering. Meandering means something that is not straight, a zigzag path. So this path is very straight. But if you follow this path, this path will be called meandering. It is not straight, it is zigzag. However, the path to positive change, editorial says that if you want to bring some positive changes, then you can say that then your path is not straight. And survive means to overcome, to defeat something. And surviving the pandemic, to defeat the pandemic and being wiser from mistakes must be the spirit. So what should we do at present? We should learn from our mistakes. We should learn our mistakes. To defeat this pandemic, it is needed that we should learn from our mistake, and we should work together. Must be the spirit in which these policy changes are adopted. Okay, we are going to adopt these policy changes, but we must realize that we need to work together to defeat this pandemic. We should understand that if we want to bring some positive changes, so it takes a lot of efforts.